You know that feeling when the workday ends, but instead of feeling free, you feel like a zombie who's been emotionally mugged by Microsoft Excel? Yeah, that was me. Every day. I'd walk through the door, drop everything like I'd just escaped a hostage situation, and collapse into the couch like it owed me money. But no matter how long I rested, I still felt worn out. Tired wasn't just a physical thing, it was mental, emotional, existential, like my soul needed a nap. And I started asking myself, what if this wasn't normal? What if post-work exhaustion isn't just part of being a grown-up? What if self-improvement means not just working harder, but recovering smarter? So I decided to experiment. Not with weird supplements or 5 a.m. boot camps. I'm not trying to become a Navy SEAL. I tried simple human stuff. Stuff that didn't feel like productivity hacks, but actually helped me feel alive again. And today on BetterMe, I'm sharing the 7 things I did to stop feeling drained after work. Let's start with the biggest shift. I stopped expecting my evenings to magically fix my whole life. This one hit me like a surprise avocado pit in a smoothie. I used to come home expecting a lot from my evenings. Like, somehow between 6 p.m. and bedtime, I was supposed to become enlightened, catch up on life admin, cook a Michelin-level meal, meditate, read 3 chapters of a personal development book, and maybe finally fix my broken relationship with Kale. That's insane. No wonder I felt drained. I was turning rest into another performance. That's not an evening routine. That's a midlife crisis disguised as productivity. So I let that go. I stopped expecting my evenings to be everything. Sometimes they're productive. Sometimes they're lazy. Sometimes I journal deep thoughts. Sometimes I watch reruns of shows I've seen 10 times. And that's okay. Self-improvement isn't about being perfect every night. It's about showing up for yourself even in small, honest ways, giving yourself permission to be human, and sometimes just tired. And oddly enough, once I stopped trying to do it all, I started feeling like I had enough. When I dropped the pressure, my evenings actually became more fulfilling. Not because I did more, but because I finally let myself just be. One of the weirdest things that helped was creating what I now call a reset walk. Okay, stick with me for a second. I used to despise commuting. You know the deal. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, stale coffee breath, and some guy yelling on the morning radio about how the world is ending. So when remote work kicked in and my commute vanished, I thought, great, one less daily misery. But after a few months, I noticed something strange. I wasn't switching off anymore. My body left the laptop, but my brain stayed in that Slack notification loop. I'd go from work emails straight to dinner dishes with no pause, and I started feeling like a machine with no off switch. Just always on. That's when I realized it wasn't the commute I missed. It was the transition, that awkward little pocket of time between being a worker and being a human, a threshold moment. And without it, my stress followed me everywhere like a needy ghost. So I started taking what I now call a reset walk. Just 10 minutes before and after work. No phone, no podcast, just me, the sidewalk, and the occasional pigeon giving me side-eye like I owed it rent. It felt pointless at first, like I was pretending to be busy. But something shifted. Those 10 minutes became sacred. A quiet ritual that told my nervous system, hey, you made it through the day. You can let go now. It gave me room to breathe, to reflect, to remember that my life is more than unread emails and Zoom fatigue. I wasn't walking away from work. I was walking back to myself. Honestly, that tiny, almost silly act, it changed how I experienced my entire day. It wasn't productivity. It wasn't hustle. It was peace. I also stopped treating my couch like a black hole for human energy. The couch is a trap, a cozy, sneaky trap. You sit down just for a second and and suddenly it's 9 p.m. You've eaten half a family-sized bag of chips and you're deep into a YouTube rabbit hole on raccoon heists. I've been there. So I made myself a deal. Before I touched the couch, I had to do one intentional thing. Something that reminded me I exist outside of my job title. It could be 5 minutes of stretching, dancing terribly to one song, cooking something that didn't come from the freezer section. It didn't matter what, just that I did it on purpose. That one small action gave me momentum. It broke the post-work autopilot, and strangely, I started enjoying my rest more because I wasn't crashing, I was choosing it. Another thing that changed the game, making an after-work me playlist. Music is emotional alchemy. One good song can turn stress into calm and calm into a kitchen dance party. So I built a playlist just for post-work me. It starts slow, eases me out of spreadsheet brain, then ramps up into songs that make me want to move, even if I look like an uncoordinated flamingo in slippers. That playlist turned my evenings from blah to, okay, this is my time now. It helped me reconnect with myself. Remember that the day wasn't over just because work was. It was just beginning, in a way that felt more me. A big shift happened when I stopped giving work my best energy. For a long time, I gave the office the best version of me. Sharp, focused, full of emotional intelligence. Then I got home and gave myself the leftovers. Like, here you go, buddy. Enjoy this brain mush and emotional burnout. But then I thought, why does work get my prime energy? If I quit tomorrow, they'd replace me in 2 weeks. Harsh, but true. So I started preserving a little fuel for myself. I still do my job well, but I don't overextend. I don't agonize over every email. I stopped acting like forgetting to reply in 20 minutes would trigger a company-wide collapse. And guess what? The world kept turning. And suddenly, I had energy left to actually enjoy my life. Radical idea, I know. Learning to say no, without guilt, might have saved my sanity. You ever say yes to something and immediately regret it, like, sure, I'd love to help move your furniture at 7 a.m. on Saturday. Why do we do this to ourselves? I realized a lot of my exhaustion came from saying yes out of guilt, not desire. So I practiced saying no, nicely. Something like, that sounds great, but I'm keeping this evening for myself. Let's find another time. Friendly, firm, 0. Apologies. And to my surprise, people didn't get mad. They respected it. Saying no wasn't selfish, it was self-respect. Part of self-improvement is protecting your time like it matters, because it does. Then I realized doom scrolling isn't rest. It's just mental junk food. I used to think scrolling my phone on the couch was relaxing, but after an hour of news, ads, and videos I didn't ask for, I felt more tired than before. That's because doom scrolling doesn't recharge you. It just numbs you while your brain keeps buzzing in the background. So I started replacing it with actual rest. Not the fancy kind, just real quiet moments. 5 minutes of journaling, a few pages of a book, sitting on the floor and listening to a good song, even doing nothing, just being still. It felt weird at first, like I was doing it wrong. But then, peace. My brain finally got to exhale, and I realized that's the kind of rest that actually helps with self-discipline, emotional intelligence, and personal growth, not just zoning out. And eventually, I started adding small sparks of joy to my evenings, just because I could. After I stopped demanding my evenings to be life-changing TED Talks, I realized something else. They didn't have to be empty either. For a while, my nights felt like a blank hallway between dinner and brushing my teeth. I wasn't pressuring myself to be productive anymore, thank goodness, but I also wasn't really living those hours. It was like emotional airplane mode. So I started small. I asked myself, what would feel good tonight? Not impressive, not optimized, just good. Some nights, that meant trying a weird new snack I found at the grocery store. Other times, it was watching a stand-up special that made me laugh so hard I had to pause to breathe. Or pulling out an old sketchbook. Or texting a friend just to send them a random meme that made 0 sense. It wasn't about achieving joy. It was about noticing it, welcoming it in, even just a sliver. And the surprising part? When I stopped chasing fulfillment and just let a little joy sneak in the side door, I started actually enjoying my evenings more. Not because they were epic, but because they were mine. Turns out joy doesn't need an invitation, just a little space. So, what's the big takeaway here? Rest isn't just about doing less. It's about doing what heals you. Look, if you're constantly drained after work, it might not be because you're doing too much. It might be because you're not doing the right things to recharge. True rest isn't scrolling TikTok in a daze. It's reconnecting with yourself in a way that fuels your soul, not just fills time. You deserve more than survival between work shifts. You deserve evenings that feel like your life, not leftovers from your job. Whether it's a fake commute, a playlist, a moment of silence, or saying no with confidence, try just one of these shifts. You might be surprised how much energy you actually have once you start using it for yourself. Join me next time on BetterMe, where self-improvement is serious. But we don't have to be.